everybody, and welcome to the Muscatine Today show. I am Jordan Lloyd. You guys may have known me from Addington Place of Muscatine for the last couple years, and now I'm with the Iowa Center of Economic Success. We have an amazing show for you today. It is my first time hosting, so thank you for joining me, and thank you to my wonderful guests for coming and joining me too. So very exciting things. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, so Hy-Vee, Unity Point, Trinity Muscatine, Muscatine Power and Water, Becky Insurance, Toyota of Muscatine, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, Impact Fitness and Nutrition, Scott and Autumn, whoop whoop, my besties, Suntan City, Lutheran Living Senior Campus, Impact Life, Blood Center, and Harper's Cycling and Fitness. So thank you guys for making this possible and asking me to be on your wonderful show. I'm super excited. And with me today, I've got some pretty cool guests. So I've got Katie and Scott from MCSA, and they're here to talk about some of the things they've got going on. So, hi guys.
Hey Jordan, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm excited. Thanks for being on. The first day I'm hosting, so I'm very excited that you guys are here, and I can't wait to hear more about what you got going on.
I can't believe we're here for your Pioneer expose or your breakout role.
Yes, there will be an hour after that I'll stay and sign autographs.
I'm gonna need one.
And then do photo ops, like if you want to bring your child and get, like as my rise to fame, that they can get a photo with me, like as I was just starting out. So
soon to be world famous. If you didn't know, you're gonna know soon.
Yes.
All right,
exactly.
All right. This is
the world
Jordan.
will know, and they should.
Anyways, I'm Scott Dalke. I'm the director for MCSA, and I really wanted to introduce the community to Katie Kelly. She is the new leader for MCSA. She'll be the program director, so the one that you see every day that's running all of the quality programs that we put in. I sought long and hard to find Katie Kelly. I waited 3 years to find Katie Kelly.
Katie Kelly.
We were doing the job on a very limited budget with just me running the show there, and finally I was able to coax her out of where she was. She was working for DHS. So a star is born with you, Jordan, since this is your breakout to that.
And Katie Kelly, that's not a name you forget. That's a pretty cool name.
Exactly.
It kind of just rolls off your tongue.
Katie Kelly.
Back when I lived in New York, we had this lady who yelled out the lottery. Her name was Yolanda Vega.
Yolanda Vega.
And that's just a name that rolls off your tongue too.
And now that name is spreading to Muscatine even.
Now I got Katie Kelly.
Yep.
It just rolls off your tongue. So anyways, I wanted to introduce her to the community, have her talk a little bit about the programs. She is kicking butt over there.
Yeah.
She's made some really amazing hires, and her mind, the way it works and how she digests client problems and social problems is just, it's a marvel to watch.
Awesome.
I'm inspired and in awe every day of her work. So I hope she'll be able to share a little bit of her successes and the programs we're running there, because our community has a soul. We're an amazing community, and MCSA is a big part of that soul.
Yep.
And the work that she's doing is really fine-tuning that and bringing us into the next generation.
Yeah.
So that's my introduction to Mrs.
Awesome.
Kelly.
Well, Katie Kelly, everybody, round of applause at home for Katie Kelly. I'm never gonna be able to call you Katie.
That's fine.
You're gonna be Katie Kelly.
That's fine.
That's awesome. That rolls. That's cool. Someday you're gonna surpass me in fame. Hopefully not for a while, but fine. So tell us about a little bit about what you got going on and kind of, how you got started with MCSA, what you like about it. And
So I've been with MCSA for about a year. I started in April of last year as a case manager, and kind of worked my way up, and now I'm working with Scott on leading MCSA. So we've got a lot of programming that's really going well for us right now. We're working, our biggest and newest venture is our Fueling the Future program. That is a program where we identify children through the Bags of Blessings program, kiddos who are food insecure in elementary, actually preschool through high school. Kiddos who are getting sent home backpacks for food over the weekends. We identify their families and get them engaged in programming to hopefully get them in an upskill program. So either a CNA program, CNC machining, welding, or pharmacy tech right now.
That's awesome.
It'll get folks enrolled into a 6-week upskilling program and help them get employed in the community to help increase those wages and help them be able to not have to be food insecure anymore. So that's a really exciting program.
That's amazing.
That we're working on right
You got to give props
That's
to the college
awesome.
on that too.
Yeah.
So there's so many parts that work together. The school system and the Bags of Blessings being pioneered by, the Faith United Church.
Yep.
Sorry. But then on the college standpoint, to provide these upskilling programs, what we found is people that are food insecure, people that are in poverty, they can't wait 2 years for an associate's degree. They need to pay their rent today.
Yep.
And if your kid is taking home a backpack of food on the weekend, things are pretty significant.
Yeah,
So
and
again,
trying to expand, that backpack of food amongst however many people are in the household, so that kind of differs.
time is of the essence. We have to be speedy. So what the college did is they consolidated a bunch of these programs. Like, so for instance, welding, they took as much welding as they could and jammed it into 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
Same thing with pharmacy tech. They offer pharmacy tech, CNA, certified nursing assistant, CNC, which is computer. Never mind. I'll have Naomi tell you about that. They operate machines. They program machines to do cutting.
Yeah.
So they're also very high demand jobs right now. And there's one more, Katie, Kelly. Which one am I missing? Welding. CNA. All right. So being able to offer those programs is just absolutely phenomenal. So hats off to Naomi and her team at the community college there for being able to work that. It's a very flexible, nimble program. We have to change on the fly depending on how many clients we get.
Right.
But I'll stop talking.
It is. It's a great program, and it really helps to get families into a situation where they're no longer dependent on Bags of Blessings or really on a lot of different social programming. So
Right.
it not only helps kids, but it helps families, it helps the community as a whole, helps address some of the labor shortage that we've got going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's a great program. Very
That's
excited
awesome.
about that.
That's so amazing. And I think one thing that Muscatine, and every organization in it does so well is kind of what you were talking about, Scott, with like, this program impacts this program and opens the door for this program, right? And they all just become interconnected, and then the college can help you guys with this, and Faith United, all those different pieces, and everybody in Muscatine is so willing to help. And I think that's one of the most, amazing things about the community we're in, but also just that it opens a lot of avenues for people, and, being able to give back to the community and open doors for, those students as well.
I think it's letting us get to a different level of service in Muscatine. I think other communities are trying to do similar things.
Yep.
We're blessed in this community. We have the right size community.
Yep.
And I think
Exactly.
People don't pat ourselves in the back enough for being the right size community.
Yep.
But what frustrates me a lot about social services is that we just put water on the fire. That's all we're constantly doing is putting water on the fire.
Yep.
And we see a client that's got issues, we try to help that client with issues. We see them hungry, we give them food. But are we ever trying to figure out why they're hungry? And trying to solve that problem, why they're homeless, why they can't pay their rent. We have to figure out all of these causes and then get to those. And that I think a lot of that's the case management that unfortunately isn't provided to the larger masses of people. With the Fuel in the Future program, we can ask the question, why? Why are we hungry? And address the bigger systemic issue behind it. Has that parent had loss of hope? Do they have learned helplessness? Anybody who's taken Psychology 101 understands learned helplessness, but learned helplessness looks a whole bunch of ways. It looks like laziness, it looks like desperation, it looks like just depression. So how can her social service team go in and address that learned helplessness? Teach the parents how to learn, how to get a gainfully employed job, and then what are the students learning? What are those kids learning while their parents are going to their education?
Right.
The kids are learning, hey, mom and dad can do this. I'm going to get a certificate or a degree when I get up out of college. So
Absolutely.
It's a very generational approach to hunger. Right?
And that's amazing because that's just helps with the longevity of all of it, and I feel like that's one thing that, like you said with putting the fire out and putting water on the fire. Where's the fire prevention, right?
Right.
And kind of cultivating those kinds of ideas and putting them into action, which sounds like you guys are doing. So that's amazing.
Talk a little bit about the structure you got there and how you're trying to implement that.
So each of the families are assigned an economic navigator, and that navigator helps the families identify any barriers that are existing in the home, because a lot of times it's more than just they can't provide food or they're on food assistance or anything like that. A lot of times it's barriers that are related to getting their rent paid, getting their utilities paid. Maybe they're not familiar with certain housing programs that would help them with those barriers. Also helping them to kind of learn about the process of going to college. I mean, I'm sure you remember when you first started college, it's a scary process. And when you are growing up maybe in a family that's never experienced college before, the economic navigators are set there to help eliminate those barriers, help support folks through those programming, help them kind of understand the process and feel less afraid and have that extra support.
Yeah.
And not only that, but once they graduate that program, the economic navigators are there to help them get enrolled in a trade that is that lines up with that training program, and then also helps follow them throughout the next, I believe it's a year, to make sure that they're maintaining stability and identify any other barriers that are in place. So it's a great program. It's a great structure. We're really excited about it, and we're really hoping to get more folks enrolled in the program.
Yeah.
So the ask for help from the community right now. Right now, Bob Albee, Buzz, everybody knows Bob. He's the retired president of the community college and just a wonderful angel of a human being. He volunteers every single day at MCSA. I got to buy him a car. He won't take money. So anyways, he's volunteering his time to do recruitment. Lorena Medina, who is our food pantry manager, she's also bilingual, is helping him. And then we're donating the time of our housing navigator. Because why?
Because
we need to make some hires.
We do. We need to hire. We've got some openings for those positions. So if anyone is interested in being in that position and helping, the Unity Point website, they can get on the Unity Point website and apply.
Yeah,
it's a great opportunity to have an impact on your community. And work with families to be able to help them reach their goals.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Unity Point, okay, and what positions, what are you hiring at?
Economic navigator.
Okay. Yeah.
We have 2 positions open for that, and then the coordinator position for the program, which is what I'm kind of stepping in and taking over right now until
wearing
we can
lots of hats.
Lots of hats.
Katie Kelly.
All of the hats, yes.
Katie Kelly.
Absolutely. So we're hiring for that as well. So Unity Point website, that'll get you right where you can apply.
If anybody out there knows, anybody who's looking for work, and I know we're in a national labor shortage, so I kind of need all hands on deck in the community to kind of help us out because this is such a systemic solution, right?
It is.
And it's something we can all rally behind. So just need those go-getters. We need those go-getters who aren't afraid to get dirty, aren't afraid to do the work. Get on the Unity Point website, and because they're public health employees. So Unity Point's got great benefits. They've got great employment programs. So get there and get you on board, and we can start changing lives.
There's no better there's no better time to kind of start this and open the floodgates to all this. Again, fire prevention type of work, that is longevity, and it's not, my family never went to college, so I didn't go to college, right? The generational issue of just creatures of habit, right? And we want to break that, and I think you guys are, doing some really cool stuff to do that. So that's amazing. Very cool. Very cool.
More programming that we're working on. We've really ramped up our rapid rehousing program. So basically when folks come into shelter, we want to make that stay as short as possible, right? Homelessness and coming into a homeless shelter is a traumatic event. It's traumatic for children, it's traumatic for adults. We want to make that stay as short as possible. And what we've learned through research is that folks that are in a situation where they are in a homeless shelter or otherwise homeless, they're not going to be able to be successful in other areas of their life until they have that need, that shelter over their head. So one of our programs that we're working hard on is following the Housing First model, which means we identify folks that are in need of immediate housing, and we set that up for them, and we get them into an apartment, get them into a house, help them with rent, utility assistance, things like that. And then in that time, while we're helping them with that, we get them into a really intensive case management program that helps them reach their goals, whether it be mental health goals, substance abuse goals, economic goals, anything like that, and get them really the support that they need to be successful moving forward. So it's a really exciting program for us, and we've just hired on Barb Herder. She previously worked with Goodwill, and then before that she was with Unity Point. She's an excellent case manager, and she's going to be taking over our rapid rehousing folks that are out in the community to help give them that extra support to get where they need. So we're excited about that.
I think the rapid rehousing program, just to kind of add a little bit to that, it's going to dynamically change how Muscatine addresses homelessness. It'll change it to the point where we won't need the shelters nearly as much. The national initiative is that we get to functional zero, which means that homelessness is brief and rare, and that's what Katie's really doing a good job of implementing. And it emphasizes the need for housing. Anybody, Psychology 101 again, everybody, the Maslow's theory of hierarchy, that bottom foundation of housing. And that's what we do with the rapid rehousing models. We put the housing first. So let's just put them out there. Let's put them in a house. Make sure it's a permanent. Make sure they have a legal lease. Because there's a whole bunch more dignity involved in that.
Absolutely.
Right? Do we have to have those kids sitting in the shelter? Traveling back and forth, catching the school bus out front of the shelter every day? We don't. Then that's a big push from the federal government and the state government to push this. But it's easy to sign on to because it's the right thing to do, right? People in Muscatine don't want to see people sleeping on the streets, and people in Muscatine have a heart. Again, this town has a soul. So I'm glad that we were able to find Katie to help implement this model and push this out. She's doing good stuff.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Awesome, Katie Kelly.
Very exciting.
Katie Kelly, such a cool name. So, what is there from the community that you need help with? What do you need? Donations of things? Do you need donations of time? I know that you guys are looking for a few positions that sound vital to what you guys are doing, and I bet there's some amazing people out there in Muscatine who want to be a part of that, and are looking for maybe that kind of work. But what can people do for you? Is there any kind of need right now, or?
So we've always got need in our shelter for basic toiletry items and basic living items and things like that. So shampoos, conditioners, deodorant, that kind of thing that help. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, things that you use every day that we sometimes take for granted that folks don't have. We're always in need of that. Ideally, I would love to have, this is National Volunteers Week, actually. And So one of the things that I think is really important and what we cherish at MCSA are our volunteers. We've got Bob, we've got
Andrea Wells.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Andrea.
Sandy Eversmeyer.
Thank you, Sandy Eversmeyer. That's also Katie Kelly, Sandy Eversmeyer.
Right. We've got Warren and Marilyn
Dickinson.
Yes, who are always working the front desk on Tuesdays.
Amazing.
Yes, fabulous couple.
The ongoing volunteer opportunities are usually, people always call and ask, what can I do? What can I do? So there's always volunteer opportunities to just answer phones. Just sit at the front desk and answer phones. There's always volunteer opportunities in our food pantry. And she can talk to you a little bit about stats and how we're trying to change the food pantry too. And then there's also something that Katie's been really focused on lately is trying to get people to come in and teach some classes. I'm trying to remember the date. Anyways, we could do creative writing, we could do arts and crafts, we could do how to land that job, resume building. There's just so many different class ideas that you can come up with. So, if my ask us, the community for volunteer appreciation work, is if you have an idea of something that you'd like to teach, Katie would love to talk with you.
Absolutely. Give me a call and we can chat about it and
that would be
figure
awesome.
out how to fit it in. We have our peer drop-in center, which is open every day and has enough space to run a classroom setting.
Amazing.
And our folks that are both in the community and in shelter would love to participate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's so many people in Muscatine who do have, kind of a niche talent or just something that they excel at in their everyday job that you know, if they taught a class, maybe, you know, someone at the shelter or in the community that kind of just needs that boost finds out that they're really good at it too, right?
Absolutely.
So that could be a really amazing opportunity. So if you have, you know, a talent or something you excel at or just knowledge you want to share, I mean, reach out to Katie Kelly and, you know, get on the books and start doing that, because an hour of your time could make seriously such an impact in one or many people's lives. So that's amazing.
Yeah, 6 years. I've never seen a music program. Just saying.
That'd be great.
That could be fun.
Right?
You don't want me to teach the music program, but
Why, are you just going to start dancing?
I mean,
We used to have Zumba, you know?
Right.
Like, bring it on.
Now, I was a Zumba teacher for like a couple days. It's not as fun to teach it as it is to do it. I was like an avid doer.
We've got this new sound system
Zumba?
installed in our gym.
yeah.
Have you ever been in our facility?
I have.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So we have a gym. We're the old YMCSA, and
Yep.
so we have a gym. We have a new sound system that you can wirelessly play music, and it bumps.
Oh,
you know,
man.
yeah.
So I do need to come do Zumba. Zumba.
Yep.
And Scott, are you going to be there?
I
Katie
will
Kelly?
not. No, you will not catch me. I
mean,
am an introvert, so.
Oh,
Oh yeah, hide me in a hole. That's what I'd like to do. Yeah, that's.
you're in the back playing the music. I'm like, Scott, roll it. And me and Katie Kelly are up there, and we're just bumping.
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could for sure see
Yeah.
that happening.
Very cool. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I mean, everything
She can
you're
talk
doing
for
is-
hours. She
is
mentioned,
doing amazing.
She mentioned
so-
the Peer Drop-In Center. That's another program
Okay.
that's open to the public. It's specifically to address mental health issues
Okay.
by somebody else who's experienced mental health issues.
Okay.
She could talk about the food pantry. She could talk about the homeless prevention program. There's just
Right.
She could talk about our permanent supported housing programs.
Got so
I mean,
much.
how much time do you got?
That's amazing.
So much.
I don't really know. It's the first time hosting.
I thought you were looking at your fake watch.
My fake watch. No, it's a
No,
real
it's real.
watch.
It's a real watch.
It's
I
a
see
real
that now.
watch. I'm an adult person, Scott.
I know. I
It's a
get
real
it.
watch.
Good, I got it.
Yeah, I know I don't act like it, but I do own a watch. Yes, my mom did buy me the watch.
I didn't bring my watch.
Yeah.
It's still in my pajamas. When I
man.
woke up this morning, I always take my watch, I put it in my pajama pockets, and I go downstairs to take my shower.
Huh, okay.
But this
so do you
morning-
sleep with your watch on?
No, it's one of those wireless ones, so I just take it off the charger and put it in my pocket. And then and then this morning I forgot to take it out of my pajama pockets and put it on my wrist, so now I kind of feel a little naked.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
right.
it feels like.
Oh, you guys are
You don't-
twinning.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel left out. I'm a third wheel.
So you're getting left out of Zumba. You're left out of watches.
Right.
I kind of don't feel bad about it being left
Yeah.
out of Zumba. I
Okay.
don't. Do I look like a guy who does Zumba a lot?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's
a
very,
hidden talent.
very kind of
See,
you.
if we do a class, maybe you'll come and you'll be like, wait a minute, there's something happening in my shoulders here. And then we're going to realize that
Jordan, I
you're
think you and
actually
me
a
could
really
be
good dancer.
friends pretty darn easily. Unless you try to make me move when I don't
Okay.
want to be moving. I think there's a lot of work that's going into the food pantry. It's very impressive. It's another one of those programs. I think we could do more.
Okay.
You know, it's again we're feeding a need. Yes,
Yeah.
people are hungry. We're making sure that goes on, and Katie can tell you how we're doing that. But strategically, can we get to why they're hungry? And that's what I'd like to focus on. And that's where my efforts are spent. And I think, can we do it in a more effective way? Right now, we're giving out bags of food because of the
Yep.
pandemic, but some of the times people get black beans, and I don't know what to do with black beans.
Yeah.
There they go. So getting back to a choice pantry where people can choose the food that they want,
Okay.
I think offers more dignity and it'll create less waste.
Yep.
If there's a way that we compare case management with the food pantry, I'd like to see us do that. And if there's a way we can centralize the food pantry stuff, we can do what we're doing across the community at a much more cost-effective way and a faster way and a more strategic
Yeah.
way. So that's kind of some of the things I'm thinking about, but I'll let Katie talk a little bit about, unless you're out of time. I just don't know how much time we got.
No, you're good. One thing before Katie Kelly talks that I had a question of, is there any, has there been any avenue open to teaching some sort of cooking class or, putting some kind of recipe with black beans or right? When you grow up, there's probably black beans in a lot of the things that, your mom or dad is making and you have no idea, right? And then you're just like, I know how to cook a chicken breast and like a vegetable, right? Like that just makes sense as in your head of what you could do, or some kind of avenue of here's what you could do that's a nutritional way to utilize what people do donate, because I do feel like that's something very commonly that people donate, right? They go to Walmart or Hy-Vee and they go, I'm gonna get all this canned stuff, and they don't think about the fact that like all these pinto beans, everybody's gonna be like, yay, pinto beans. But, you know, kind of an avenue of how can we get them to utilize those things that are donated in their diet too.
That's a really good question. We actually do have a program through Iowa State University Extension.
Awesome.
That they will come in and teach a cooking class for folks, and it's geared specifically towards how to utilize food that you get using your SNAP benefits, which means using your food assistance benefits. And so they work directly with clients to learn how to cook, and then they actually do like a quick meal or a quick
cool.
So it's kind of like cooking on a budget kind of planning. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's a really great.
And when we're not pandemic, and something that they're going to be getting back to, we're going through a major renovation process in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. But after the renovation, we're hoping to get back to hot meals, and that's something that we did previously. Nora Dwyer used to be our food pantry manager, and we would do hot meals directly following the food pantry, and so. Right at the end of food pantry, they'd cook up a meal using pantry items and feed people using the pantry items, and they'd give out the recipe that they just used.
Yeah,
so sometimes they're able to make these really interesting lasagnas that smelled wonderful.
Yeah.
So when we get back to Choice Pantry, I'd also like to get back to those hot meal programs so that you can really provide an amazing service on pantry days, because what else is paired with the pantry? Our medical programs.
Our medical programs, that's right. Thank you, Scott. So, we've also got, you're so good at like the.
I know, I just like that he like gives you the question and then here's an avenue to talk about, Katie Kelly. Yeah.
Exactly. So we have our CHC clinic that comes in during pantry hours and beyond on Thursdays. It's a walk-in clinic through CHC. It's completely free. It is geared towards anybody who is either on Medicaid or even if you don't have insurance. If you're having a medical issue or a concern, you can come on in, get yourself checked out by a nurse practitioner with
That's
community
so awesome.
health care. Again, that's on Thursdays from 9 until 3. Anybody can come in. You don't have to be a client of MCSA. You don't have to live at MCSA or stay at MCSA. Anybody can come in. And get checked out. We're very excited about that program.
That's awesome.
We also have a Unity Point that comes in during our food pantry hours to do blood pressure checks, and I believe blood sugar checks at times too, to make sure that folks are doing okay. We have a nurse that's there to help with that, and then they also provide some different hygiene items. We also have testing, like COVID testing that they can help with, things like that.
And the background behind that is that people in poverty, and this is fact, look it up on any website, any healthcare website, people in poverty are dying 10 to 15 years younger than people not in poverty. And I don't really think it's moral for your lifespan to be determined by what's in your wallet. First of all, second of all, those years are spent in fragmented care, which is incredibly expensive and highly ineffective. If you're using your emergency room as your general practitioner, emergency rooms are just there to put a Band-Aid on the problem, right? They're not going to give you the comprehensive and preventative care that you really need. You know, I've got high blood pressure. Probably would have died already if my doctor hadn't caught it. You know, and that's what doctors need to do. So we gotta change the model of how we're doing this. It's not always going to be, people in poverty aren't always going to go to the doctors, and they're not always going to make the right choices because what are they focused on? I need to eat today. I need to pay my rent today.
So I can't drop $1,000 at the ER.
I'll take care of my health later. You know, so and there's a certain amount of pride that they have. They're like, no, I can tough through it. You know, I can't pay my rent right now. I'm not going to the doctor. I'm going to pay my rent. Darn it. You know, so we got to drop the healthcare in their laps. You know, so to be able to catch all those people coming through pantry and through our shelter is awesome. But it's also the only place downtown that you can get a prescription for medication. So it's like an urgent care clinic, really. You can come there, see a doctor, get a prescription for medication, go to Hy-Vee Main Street. Matt's going to thank me for bragging about Hy-Vee and get a prescription filled, right? So there's some background to why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
And again, I mean, it's going going to help taxpayers by reducing taxes, reducing the emergency room visits, but it's also going to provide a lot more dignity, a lot more of that soul that we know Muscatine has.
Yep, absolutely. That's so awesome. And I do feel like that's, a very common thing of, if you don't have insurance or something, something's wrong with me, but I'm just going to push it or keep pushing it off until, something very unfortunate happens, because you don't want to have to figure out how you're going to front the money for those kinds of things, right? Because like you said, nobody's lifespan should be determined by how much they make or, that their rent's this amount or, whatever it is, because that stuff starts to add up. And
there's more to infrastructure to a city than just your roads, police force, and fire department. We've got some great roads. We've got a phenomenal police department, but you need a bigger infrastructure. And if you invest in that infrastructure, you invest in a whole community that we're getting to now, and we're bringing Muscatine to the next generation so that we have this infrastructure in place where everybody can experience an American dream, number one. Number two, we can cost effectively do this. We can.
Yeah.
It's solvable, so let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's stop being scared.
Yeah,
Get at
absolutely. And that just goes hand in hand with that sustainability and longevity, instead of putting the Band-Aid, actually fixing the problem and working to, prevent it and set people up for success versus just going, here's your unfortunate hand you were dealt.
Right.
Here's a small Band-Aid, and keep doing a small Band-Aid versus just resolving the problem altogether.
We talked about preventing. You should talk about the prevention program and about a reasonable budget and Maya's work.
Oh yeah, homeless prevention, absolutely. So we have Maya
He's just throwing you cards.
Right? I love that. Hey. I love that. Super helpful. We have Maya Ribbing. She is the housing navigator for our homeless prevention program. She does phenomenal work with the community. She helps. So if folks are struggling to make their rent payments for whatever reason, having a hard time, they might be risking or facing a possible homelessness or eviction or anything like that, they can get in touch with us over at MCSA and we'll get you hooked up with Maya. And she is excellent at reaching out to landlords, finding resources, getting people hooked up with what they need to maintain and to be and get stable and be able to self-sustain. And she was an excellent hire and an excellent case manager. She does great work with us.
That's awesome.
I often tell Katie, I'm like, you made the right hire when you see them borrowing their dad's pickup truck and going to help move a client. It's not in the job description, right? And I don't say that that's part of what I expect from them. But you've got a good hire when that's what you see.
She'll hop right in there.
Borrow dad's pickup truck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And the overall biggest cause for homelessness in Muscatine is lack of affordable housing. People just can't afford to pay their rent.
Yeah.
The fact is, back in 2015, we did a very expensive market demand study, so very credible evidence. It's posted on the City of Muscatine's website. The average rent in Muscatine is $764, right around there. I may be off by a couple bucks, $764. But if you're making about $12 an hour, or $10 an hour, 32 hours a week, you're bringing home pays around $1,000 a month. That's what's in your back pocket. You take the average rent from $1,000, you're left with $200 some odd, $240, $260.
Yeah.
You still got to, for the rest of the month. You still got to buy gas for your car, groceries. You still got to pay your utilities. If your kids need medicine, if they need school books, and Christmas presents. I mean, just because you're poor, everybody's going to want to buy their kids Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So you just can't do it. And I'm always being offered, I'll come teach counseling, financial literacy, Scott. I'll come teach budgeting. How do you budget zero, Jordan?
Yeah, right.
How do you budget nothing? How do you budget when you're always going to be in the hole? So that's why we're really proud to have the relationship with the college to get people into these programs where we can upskill them. So that's what Maya's facing every single day is people just can't make their budget work. So she'll come in, and that's where our case management starts, is at the budget.
Absolutely.
In the shelter and in the prevention program. And we don't want to let a client out of our sight until we know that they have a workable budget.
Right.
Hopefully we can increase their income, but if we can't increase their income, we'll look for programs that will subsidize their rent so that they can have that workable budget. Because going forward, if we put them out into a hopeless situation, we're going to see them again. And we have to end that cycle.
Right.
And we take that incredibly seriously to the point where it keeps us up at night, doesn't it, Katie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like, like you said earlier, of wanting their stay to be as short as possible, you don't want a bunch of short stays either for that same individual, or same family. You want the one stay, if at all, and then they go on their way and they're set up for success. So I think that's awesome.
Exactly. And our prevention program not only helps keep them down to one stay, but helps them keep them down to 0 stays. I mean, Maya can help identify resources to help keep people in their homes, so that they don't have to experience homelessness and that traumatic. It's such a trauma for kids to have to leave their home. It has an impact on their schooling. It has an impact on their health, their nutrition, all of those things, and their safety. Quite honestly. So it's great that we have that program in place.
It's a known fact that kids who move frequently are 90% more likely to have failing grades, 80% more likely to have truancy issues, and 70% more likely to have negative behaviors. And we could talk a little bit about how when they move, they're putting their kids in increasingly more difficult situations. First it's their mom, but they can only stay there 7 days. Then they go to, their uncle's house who's a smoker, can only stay there 7 days. Then they go to the drinker, and then eventually they're putting their kids in a predatory situation, and that's just no good. So we want to reduce all of that stuff. And I think a lot of the work I'm doing on the community, regional, state, and federal level is trying to advocate for ways that we can dynamically change how we address homelessness, so that we don't need those shelter stays. We can put people right into housing. Unfortunately, there's just not enough housing. So that's another strategic objective for MCSA is to develop more housing. But we could talk about that another day because it's all goes together. Goes together.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, but it sounds like you guys are really cultivating those pieces, and putting a lot of care and love and time and sleepless nights. And you guys got some good people on your team, it sounds like, and especially Katie Kelly. So welcome to your new position. So good find, Scott. But so thank you guys for everything you're doing, and thank you for coming on and sharing everything. It's awesome. So anything you guys need, just let the community know.
We need applicants for the Field in the Future program, economic navigators. I could use an economic navigator in my case management program at the shelter side. And then people want to teach classes. Katie is really interested in developing those class schedules. And it's just, once a month, once a week, whatever you feel good with. The other thing that was really helpful is we got some people recently started offering haircuts. And so stuff like that is always beneficial too.
Because it's one of those things where, it sounds like such a cliche thing, but look good, feel good, right? I mean, you do have dignity in, you don't have to wear the most beautiful clothing and jewelry and all those kinds of things to feel confident, but, to have clean hair and a nice fresh cut and shave and things like that. I mean, that gives people, it sets them up for success. I mean, that's,
I think you treat people how you want them to be. You don't treat people how they are today, because where they are today may not be where they want to be tomorrow. So you treat them and you act like they are who you want them to be tomorrow. So if that's a clean-shaven, freshly made-over person, then let's get there. You treat them that way, and then help them get there. We've never had an extreme makeover class. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Do you want to teach that one, Scott?
I think that is the right step for me. I think that is the right step for me. If anybody could teach me how to make myself look good, I will teach it to the clients. I promise.
There you go. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we do have a what's in the box. Who wants to do it? Katie Kelly, you have to do it.
I think it's all you, Katie Kelly.
Okay, you have to do it. So you put your hands on the side here.
Okay.
And you tell me what's in there, Katie Kelly.
Both my hands.
Both your hands. You can do one hand. Oh, she knows.
That is a bulb of garlic.
That is a bulb of garlic. Your talents are endless, Katie Kelly. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Now, does anybody know why we have this bulb of garlic from our wonderful Hy-Vee, where they sell garlic, both minced and fully bulbed? Do you know why? Does anyone want to take a guess?
Is it something to do with Twilight movie?
It's nothing to do with Twilight movie.
No. Okay.
But thank you for that very unique assumption, Scott.
Edward is now going to be Batman?
He is Batman.
Just saying.
It's out on HBO Max.
Is it really?
It is already, yeah.
Oh, so I'm watching tonight.
Yep. I've heard it's really good. I've heard it's better than the other Batmans, so you make your assessment and then let me know.
I don't know if I can see him as anything else but Edward Cullen.
Well, see, I think so too, especially because I was a Team Edward, try hard, die hard fan.
I now know so much more about you, Jordan.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's very telling. If your team Edward or your team Jacob, I mean, that was, it separated a lot of things in life for me. I mean, I came down the path of fame and success and fortune because I was a team Edward. And the team Jacob people are out there, and
Oh, you're gonna be good, Jordan.
Who knows what they're doing? You what? You had all the books. Well, see, I read the first book. I'm not a big reader. So another fun fact, not a big reader, does like Zumba, was a Team Edward fan.
And destined for fortune and fame.
Yes, that too. Well, that's just a given. But I did have a life-size cutout of Taylor Lautner, who was Jacob.
Oh,
Well, my mom did get it for me. So thank you, Mom. But just know you did pick the wrong one.
You did pick the wrong one.
But I mean, we're not all perfect. I mean, some of us are close.
So the garlic has nothing to do with Edward.
No, it's National Garlic Day. Bringing it back. It's National
Volunteer
Garlic
Appreciation
Day.
Week and National Garlic
Yes.
Day.
And a couple fun facts. Did you know that the average person eats 2 pounds of garlic per year?
I probably eat
Even
more.
if you
I
can
probably
definitely eat
too.
more, but
Yeah.
even people that don't particularly like garlic or cook with garlic eat about an average of 2 pounds.
Fun fact,
knowledge.
I came from a strong Italian family, so garlic is a staple.
So you use.
Yeah, lots of it.
You can have this. I don't know if Matt Schweizer
I think
let
Matt
me
would
actually
chase
give
me
this
out.
away.
I think Matt would chase me
but
out.
I feel like I have the authority. There's been some talks about maybe like me having his job next. I don't know. We'll just see. It's whatever. Also, garlic can be used to make glue.
I did not know that.
Did not know.
And now, you come on the show, you give out all your knowledge, and then I send you off
Thank you for making me smarter.
with a little bit of knowledge.
I'm in your
you
debt.
can thank BastaPastaMD.com for that. That sounds like a solid source. Basta Pasta. That's what they called me in college.
That's the authority, huh?
Yep.
Pasta.
That's who we're going with. So, okay. Thank you guys so much for coming, and also on my first day of hosting.
You did great.
Thank you.
You are great.
Thank you. So I was pretty excited. So join me tomorrow. I will also be hosting. So unless this was not enjoyable for you to see me host, then I guess you won't be watching tomorrow, but I hope you will. So thank you, Katie. Thank you, Scott. You guys are doing amazing things. So watch tomorrow, and we'll be at Unity Point and hearing about all the amazing things that are going on in Muscatine again. So have a great Tuesday.
Okay, guys, we've been through a lot together. We all know sometimes it gets hard, but it's okay to not feel okay. You know what helps? A good book or going for a walk. Not now, Fred. But what really helps is to talk to someone. Because to take care of each other, you gotta take care of you. If you need to talk to someone, your doctor will listen. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter.